Hello, people from across the United States and around the globe. Playing some real heater of a music in the background there. I appreciate that. Foxy is currently in the control room of this World Trade Center 4 building that we are currently in.
Yep.
SNY studio here in New York City. Ty Schmidt is joining me right out here in the studio. We have an incredible view of New York City in its entirety.
Yeah, definitely. I'll tell you what, it's pretty humbling being up here.
I will say that as well. A lot of buildings, a lot of humans. And when I say this, I mean this. This show started in a basement. And now we're getting a chance to broadcast live from here, which is a really cool thing on this Monday, September 16th. A lot of things happened yesterday in foosball that we will definitely talk about. From a personal standpoint, though, this is incredibly cool. If you're listening on the radio, you don't get a chance to see the setup we're at right now. We're on the 50th floor of World Trade Center 4. And especially with what we talked about a week ago, it's a very humbling experience to be here. Ty Schmidt's rocking his best mustache. Evan Foxy is back in a control room alongside Zito, but they're not allowed to touch anything.
No.
Not allowed to touch anything. A guy named Bill told us that Foxy can stand behind a guy named Sully, by the way, which I like. Sully's probably there is Foxy right there in the director's chair. He has to sit behind a guy named Sully who's cutting the cameras. Zito's allowed to sit there and answer the calls, but don't touch anything.
Yeah, I mean, in not as many words, basically he said, hey, listen, this is hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment. We don't need you three stooges messing anything up.
Which I can respect.
Yeah.
But our show is worth millions of dollars, pal. We've been here, done that, and can't wait to do this every single week this season live from New York. We're taking your calls, 1-833-622-3331. That is 1-833-622-3331. That is 1-833-McAfee1. We want your reaction from the games yesterday. I can't answer your calls. Zito can. I can't put you on the air. Zito can. I can't hang up on you. Zito can. And to be honest, I have no idea who's calling in until Zito tells me who it is.
Yeah, that's about right.
With that being said, we're going to give you great takes on yesterday. Is Vinatieri done? I talked to him on the phone last night. A lot of people want to know about that. I have some answers for you. Or do I? Drew Brees is going to go see a guy named Steve Shin, who's a doctor, about what's going on with his thumb. Aaron Donald, who trains with knives, got in there and broke his thumb, it seems like. Maybe ligament damage. Who knows? Are the New Orleans Saints done? Is Teddy Bridgewater the answer? They've been calling Taysom Hill Steve Young down there. And whenever push came to shove to put Taysom Hill, they chose to go with Teddy Bridgewater, the highest paid backup quarterback in the NFL. Didn't perform great.
No, he didn't look great. But they're in serious trouble without Breeze.
But maybe they'll shape the offense around Teddy Bridgewater or Taysom Hill, and they'll be good. I have faith in Sean Payton's brain. I think he has a good brain, good swag. I like the Packers a lot, which is going to be good for you. Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur, and that defense look to be cooking up something special in the middle of Cheese Town. The Indianapolis Colts, big dub down there in Nashville against the Tennessee Titans. Pittsburgh Steelers, we suck again, they're saying. Ben Roethlisberger potentially hurt. Non-contact elbow injury. That is something that you should be alarmed about, even though Mason Rudolph came in and made some big plays. Let's go ahead and get this thing started, shall we? We have no idea yet again how this is going to go. No clue at all how this is going to go. Box Truck Studio was 145 degrees, had 2 microphones at work, but we got on the air. Here we are in the middle of the most busy city on earth with an incredible view, very humbling operation. We still have no clue if this is going to work. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pat McAfee Show, Monday, September 16th. Let's get to it. Hey, Evan Foxy, will you please tell another guy to play some Chase Rice?
It's the perfect occasion for a little vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
Thank you, Chase Rice. That's an absolute banger. It doesn't matter where you're sitting. If you hear Chase Rice, you got to feel good. We have a completely black screen because the guy that's pushing the buttons didn't know to put it back on the camera. That's neither here nor there. The countdown stopped at 3:23 before the show. No big deal. We'll make do. You know why? Because we're born in the dark.
A lot of tech issues in here right now, but we're sorting them out. We're getting through it.
You know, this weekend I watched the Bill Burr stand-up, by the way. Paper Tiger performed it over in England. Between him and Chappelle's stand-up set, I would argue that those two are the most aggressive comedians in the history of comedians, and I would also argue that I will not do stand-up anymore because of how good it is.
Haven't watched the Bill Burr one yet, but I mean, if you said it's on kind of the same wavelength as the Chappelle one, so yeah, I mean,
he takes some shots. I mean, he takes some shots in a very hilarious manner. Some people are probably going to hate it, I assume, but that's the way comedy goes. Speaking of hating things, Adam Vinatieri is a man. I'm just staring at the city right now, and this is. I wish I could explain it to like my mom or dad what's happening right now. We are 50 floors above Earth in the city that never sleeps. And I don't know how people live here. There is 7,000 buildings within a mile radius of where we are right now, and we're looking over top of all of them. It's awesome. They should sell postcards of this view. I assume they do. I assume they do. Adam Vinatieri, though, is the greatest kicker of all time.
true.
Consistency is what separates good from great in the specialist world. Okay? If you're good, you can hit a big ball. You can wow people. Oh my God, that guy's got an absolute cannon. That Caravan something, the kid that was with the Ravens and they got traded to the Vikings and the Jets picked him up. Massive leg. Massive leg. He can punt, he can kick field goals, he can kick off, he can do it all. Whenever people see him kicking on a field, they go, well, damn, that guy can bomb a football. It's like whenever you walk up to a driving range and there's a pro golfer there. You see him hit a ball, you're like, well, that just sounds and looks a lot different than I do, and I golf a couple times a week. The difference between being an all-pro kicker and just a guy who's on a team for a couple weeks is consistency. So to be consistent for 23 years or 24 years, whatever it is for Adam Vinatieri,
right,
is what separates him. Justin Tucker, incredible ball kicker. Harrison Butker of the Kansas City Chiefs is on his way to be an incredible ball kicker. Happy Chris Boswell is back in the game. He's a great ball kicker. There's a lot of great ball kickers, but there is nobody that's been able to do it for so long, so good. And what makes a kicker even better is the ability to withstand the mental pressure whenever things get flying. That's why I said Carly Lloyd, if she worked on it a little bit and could shorten her steps and become explosive, because she's already mentally tough, she's a world champion, she could potentially do it. Now, there's going to be a lot of work to become as strong, but the mental pressure. Adam Vinatieri has played on probably one or two teams that haven't made the playoffs. Every kick matters for Adam Vinatieri. The last 23 years of his life have just been a pressure-packed operation. Every single kick matters. Will we go to the playoffs? Will we go to the Super Bowl? Ba, 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 ba. And all he's done is shown up. Just a kid from South Dakota. Had to go play in the Amsterdam Admirals for a year. Then Parcells brings him over to the Patriots. He makes the team. Super Bowl winning kicks, everything like that. The most legendary kicks in the history of the game. Adam Vinatieri has stepped up, been there, done that. The last couple of weeks, hasn't looked like Adam Vinatieri. Ugly balls, Ty. Mm-hmm. Ugly balls. So I started watching the film in my football lair at our office in Indianapolis, where there are 6 TVs on, which I'm very thankful for that, because I hate the Red Zone channel. The Red Zone channel was founded by terrorists who tried to get rid of the punter. I like to watch the flow of the game. And when I saw Vinny last week miss a couple kicks, I thought to myself, well, something has to be up. So this week I broke it down in slow motion on DirecTV as much as you can.
Sure.
DirecTV on slow motion, by the way, it's the worst. Okay, I assume this is going to ruin my DirecTV deal if we have one, which we don't yet. Potential future DirecTV deals. It is the worst product in the history of the world.
Yeah, I mean, I've been telling you for about a year and a half now that you need to get rid of the satellite and move the cable, because it's just not reliable at your home. It's just not.
I live out in the middle of nowhere, but even at the office, which is in downtown Indiana, you just can't bank on DirecTV helping you out. But I do, in fact, I enjoy the fact that they have all the games,
right,
much like DAZN has in Canada, Germany, and other places. So I'm watching the game. There's a lot of other stuff going on. Roethlisberger gets hurt, right? There's There's a lot of Patriots are just slinging the rock to Antonio Brown early to make him feel good. Antonio Brown's calling God. He's like, thank God Tom Brady's throwing me the football. Incredibly intelligent move by Belichick and McDaniels, by the way. AB always gets upset about the number of attempts or targets he has. So they said, listen, this is what we're going to do early. We're going to target you early, make sure you know that you are a part of our plans. Even if you don't know the entire playbook, here's your plays. We're going to come after you. Tom Brady said after the game, I'm just throwing to the open guy. Antonio Brown's always open. That's why Antonio Brown is the greatest wide receiver of all time.
Right.
Easy answer. Definitely a decision by the Patriots to target him early to make him feel good. Also let their fans know, like, hey, we got a guy here. There's a lot of stuff happening off the field. Whether you think he should have played or not, morally, is an entirely different conversation.
Well, and then if he doesn't play, isn't that kind of an admission of guilt from the Patriots anyway? I mean, their hands were tied. He kind of had to play yesterday, otherwise it would look even worse.
I think a couple years ago, Antonio Brown, no way he's on the football field there. Commissioner's list immediately. But now in the world that we live in, we seem to be a little bit more of a balanced society. We're like, oh, well, let's hear this other side of the story first before we go. But there's still a lot of people that don't think Antonio Brown should have been allowed on the football field.
Right.
So we'll save that conversation for another day. Him being on the field, though, them choosing to target him, Patriots saying a lot of things there, Tom Brady saying a lot of things there, and Antonio Brown showing up, making plays for them, good news. But the only thing I was fascinated about was Adam Vinatieri. Mm-hmm. Good friend of mine. Held his balls for a long time. Some would argue his greatest years were whenever I was holding his balls. I don't think I would say that, but stats do.
Sure.
So, as a former kicker and a guy that was with him every single day of his life there for a while, every ball he kicked, I wanted to see what was going on. And I found it very obvious early that it was obvious his left knee was in a little bit of pain. He couldn't plant, he couldn't dig in deep, he couldn't really stick in with it, so he's short stroking everything. And when you can't dig in deep and you can't plant on your left knee as much as you would like, it kind of gives you this inconsistent stroke. And I thought it was very obvious that that's what was happening. So then the whole world started turning against Adam Vinatieri. Everybody's like, he needs to retire. He's going to cost the Colts games. He's going to do all this. And Adam Vinatieri deserves a little bit of a couple week, like, hey, this guy has been consistently great for 23, 24 years, whatever it is. He's allowed to have a couple weeks where he's human. But if Adam Vinatieri is at the point where he doesn't want to play anymore, I'm happy for him too. What I don't like is when reporters take a quote from him and then start suggesting that he's going to retire, right? Because then that kind of spins in. We're not going to a break in 30 seconds. Like, I understand that that's what's supposed to happen, but I'm going to push it back like a minute and a half. I'm talking about something right now that is like a pretty big deal to me, Foxy. Yeah, I know it is. I know it is. Foxy, you tell Sully, you tell Bill, you tell the entire gang back there that if I want to push this thing another minute and a half, I'm allowed to do that. I don't give a damn about Wes. I mean, Foxy's in a terrible position where he's at right now.
Not a great spot.
He's like 14 years old. He's back there. He's having to direct these guys he's never met before. You guys had to stay in New York for the weekend for no reason. You're not allowed to touch anything. So what's the purpose of a rehearsal if you can't touch anything? Complete waste of time, waste of space, waste of air, waste of rest, which you guys could have got. But thank you, Foxy, for the acknowledgement that I should go to a break soon. I think Vinatieri, though, is going to do whatever the hell Vinatieri wants to do. I got to talk to him last night. He doesn't enjoy the fact that he feels like he's a liability to his team.
Right.
I have no idea what he's planning on doing. He didn't tell me, and to be honest, I wouldn't want him to tell me because he knows that I have to go on microphones.
Exactly.
So there's no reason for me to ruin our friendship by asking that question. But it did feel as if the only thing he's upset about is that he's letting his teammates down. He's always said, as long as I continue to be an asset for the team, I'll continue doing it. He's been kicking 60-yarders all the way up until the age 45, 46 now. He's been an incredibly consistent kicker for this entire run right now. But right now, I think Vinatieri has the feeling where he's letting his teammates down, and he doesn't like it. I would argue that it's potentially because he can't plant. He didn't say that. That's me saying that strictly off my DirecTV slow motion replay. But that it could be a problem. Will we be able to figure it out? I'm not sure. I don't like him being quoted as you'll see me tomorrow. And everybody's like, well, that's your off day. Well, it's not your off day if you're going through treatment.
Right.
He's going to be in there for treatment today if anything's happening. So I think one thing led to another. He is the oldest player in the league. He's accomplished everything there is to accomplish. A couple rough outings. A lot of people are thinking, well, good story here would be for him to retire. A lot of people are suggesting he's going to. I have no idea. Honestly, I have no idea. If he does, I was very lucky to be a teammate and a friend of his. If he doesn't, I hope he gets back out there like the South Dakota jackrabbit he is and kicks the hell out of that pigskin and wins another Super Bowl with the Indianapolis Colts, who, by the way, are a good football team again.
Yeah, they are.
All right, let's get to a break. Foxy, there it is. There's some music. I appreciate that. On the other side, another legend of football folklore will be joining us. Talked to him about the gosh darn Jets. He was a big-time contributor for a long time for them. All-Pro Nick Mangold on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. What was that?
It's the filter for.
Foxy, can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, I mean, especially when we're in the middle of a Vinatieri rant. I mean, who's the guy behind you giving you the rant? Have I ever met the guy? Well, Foxy, you're in a terrible position over there.
I should have told you that too, Foxy. When he gives you that, that's just like the network times, but you can push those back. So, it's usually just a suggestion for going to break.
Nick Mangold, can you hear me?
Hi, I can. Can you hear me, Pat?
Oh, my God, you sound delicious, Nick. You are live right now on the internet, so don't say anything hilarious. Let's save it for the show.
Perfect.
Hey, Nick.
I don't say anything funny.
I agree, but I think other people find you hilarious. Nick, I love you, man.
Are you in New York right now?
Yeah, I was going to text you and tell you to come by the studio. It would be a much better conversation.
I thought I was just reporting from the studio, so that's why I didn't come into the studio. But if I had known that you were in the flesh,
yeah,
I would have been on the probably 8:32 train, smoking on in.
Oh, my gosh. You know what? I'm here. Hey, I'm here every Monday for like the next 13 weeks. You should come through one of these days.
Let's do that.
You just want to be a guest host for an entire 2 hours or what?
Sure.
Hey, I like that a lot. I want to let you know.
There we go.
What?
What's your time? What are you, 10 to 12? 10 to noon?
10 to noon American Standard Time. Foxy, go ahead and give it a go, bub.
Hello. Can you guys hear me on DAZN?
Oh, my God. You sound so good right there, Foxy.
Let's go.
Hey, Zeke. What's up? My man. Great. Logan, what's going on, bub? Huh? Yeah, you're the executive producer, Logan. You're allowed to do whatever you want. This guy's the executive producer of the show. DAZN, look.
Can you just ask him about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Do you get this email?
Yeah,
Okay. I just want to make sure you saw it. Thank you.
appreciate you.
Okay.
What's that thing called again?
Booking sheet?
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
No. What he's
Oh. Sportsbettingdime.com.
sportsbettingdime.com. I like that. I like that.
Is that thing live on FanDuel yet?
11, they're saying. Oh, that's some feel-good music there, isn't it? Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show, live from World Trade Center 4 in New York City. Joining us on the line is a man who is famous around these parts for his incredible football play. Also, his incredible... I mean, can we turn the music down? I mean, there has to be some give and take here. There just has to be... just a little ride the wave with me. You know what I mean? Just ride the wave with me. Pretty standard stuff, transition in, transition out. I wish I would have met the guy doing the music. You're probably an incredible human, but damn, come on.
I'm supposed to tell him, Pat. That's on me.
You're supposed to tell. This guy has a brain, though, Fox. You remember, you can't touch the buttons because this guy has a bigger brain than you. This guy should know this. I'm sure he's an incredible guy. But anyways, joining us now is a man with a big brain, an all-pro for the New York Jets. A man that I saw at the NFL draft, had a couple conversations with, had a couple beers with, and is one of the most entertaining and electric humans to ever grace this earth. Ladies and gentlemen, from Centerville, Ohio, Nick Mangle.
Hey, how we doing?
Nick, not as great as you. Did you enjoy that intro? I wish it could have been better. I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, I thought the second time around was perfect. Really nailed it.
Let's talk about your Jets real quick. We could talk about everything you do. Sportsbettingdimes.com, that is the company that you are currently promoting. What do you do with them? How's life with Sports Betting Dimes? What do you think about the sports gambling world that we're about to bounce into?
So I'm breaking into it. I'm new to it. Jersey, it's legal here to be able to do it. And so for me, it's a tool that I can use. It's all free. You can check them out. They give you all the stats and all of the different research that you don't want to do, and they're a big help.
Okay. Have you learned, and this is, when I gamble on the NFL, I feel as if I have an advantage because I feel like I don't read the X's and O's, okay? I read the Jimmies and Joes. If a guy comes off a bad game, I'm like, you know what? This guy, going back to his hometown, is going to want to prove a lot of people wrong, especially coming off a bad week. He wants to get rich. I think he's going to have a good game. Bang, I'm going to hammer the over for this. Have you found that at all, or are you just literally getting your feet wet right now?
I'm getting my feet wet, and I thought I would be good. I tried daily fantasy last year, and I thought, well, that would be easy. It's not. And I just got worked over bad. So now, obviously I moved from the free side and threw some money at it. So this should go swimmingly.
Well, I think the good thing is if you have a lot of money like yourself, you're supposed to just dump it all into gambling. So remember that as you continue this thing. Let's talk about the Jets, shall we?
Shall we?
This was supposed to be the year. I mean, Gary V., Mike Greenberg, KFC from Barstool, I believe yourself, everybody's excited. We got Lev Bell. We got this elusive running back who's like a magic man. Whew, now you see me, now you don't. We got this quarterback that was 12 when he got to the league. Now he's grown into the year, and bang, just one thing after another. And now mononucleosis has attacked the New York Jets. What is going on, and will the Jets ever not be cursed?
I think at some point they will not be cursed. Unfortunately, right now it feels like we're cursed. To have your quarterback get mono is absurd. To have your starting linebacker, who absolutely dominated for 3 quarters, get injured and then out is going to hurt. But at the same time, as you know, even in the world, next man up philosophy. If you got to go out there and you got to kick a field goal, you got to do it, And so I think that's our hope, is that the next man up fills in. We get a week of notice, which, it's better than guy getting hurt on the first play. So I don't know. It's going to be a wild time tonight. I'll be there at MetLife, rocking some tailgates, hanging out, doing a little pregame show. So it's going to be a wild time.
Adam Gase got introduced to the New York Jets in one of the most memorable press conferences I think the world has ever seen, right? I mean, he was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed out there. Understatement of the year, what I just said. His last press conference where he was describing Sam Darnold being down because of mono and seemed like he was a bit beat up. Is there a way, if you're the coach of the Jets, what are you saying to the team? Like, hey, listen, I mean, obviously, we've hit every single branch of the unfortunate tree as we've fallen down to earth here. What is your message to the team tonight if you're in that locker room?
I think the message is, all is not lost. We have a backup. All is not lost. We have a backup who has started games in the NFL. It's not a guy coming in green who has no idea what he's doing. We have a power running game that we got to ride. You got to ride that horse and just keep riding it. Just keep riding it.
Oh, yeah.
And, play lights out defense. And I think Greg Williams is going to have that defense amped up.
Him and OBJ already battling a little bit. Greg Williams, 2Gs, came out there and said, Odell who? Just joking. And then he said, do the Giants like Odell? I don't know. You tell me. I enjoyed a little give and take between a D coordinator and wide receiver who thinks he's been wronged by a guy in the past, which, I mean, that's up for debate. I'm not in the locker room. I don't know what they're being said. Let's move forward to the NFL as a whole. This morning I was on Get Up, and Rex Ryan, in the pre-production meeting, almost had a complete conniption fit about these refs and how the game is being called and the game is being changed. How do we fix the officiating issue that's happening in the NFL? There's billions of dollars on the line, and I'm saying that not only with sports gambling and with contracts and with tickets being sold and ownership and everything like that. There is so much money on the line in the NFL, and whenever something becomes this big, every mistake gets, what's that called?
Magnified.
There it is. That's the word I'm looking for. And it seems as if the refs' mistakes have been magnified, but man, they seem to be happening at a more rapid rate, Nick.
Oh, they are. And I think what it's showing you is that you got to go full-time refs. I think that's our only hope. There's still going to be human error, but you want to knock out some of the human error, you make the guys full-time. And I think that helps. And, I think that's your best bet. I don't know any other way other than to have guys who have no other jobs. Their only job is to watch film, watch games, and go over it and over it and over it again.
Walt Anderson and I have a bad relationship, okay? He caught a false start on me in England on an extra point that should have been on the nose tackle. I was trying to get the D-line off of our guys on field goal, so I go hard count on 2, on 3, because the offensive linemen hate field goal enough. I mean, it's the worst job in the history to be an offensive lineman on field goal. Do you agree?
I concur.
It's bad. You're just sitting there, you stand up, and literally they tell you to die slowly. That's a technique. Die slowly. So it's a miserable thing. So I try to go hard count from the belly. I got a nose tackle to jump. Thought we should have been able to go for 2 from the 1-yard line instead of the extra point. Walt Anderson literally looked at me, pointed at me, and said, I'm calling it on 1. So since that day, I've hated him. But with that being said, he's 97 years old, still calling games. Is there ever going to be a time where there's a turnover in referees? I mean, I think we need a new class to get in there. And have you ever thought about potentially officiating? Because I think ex-players reffing is the way we really fix this whole thing.
That would be interesting. Ex-players officiating. So much more would get away with.
Well, I think it'd be more reasonable. And also, whenever they make the call, people would be like, he's played. That must be right. You know what I mean? I think they get a lot more credit than like Walt Anderson, who's like, holding. Shut up, Walt. That's what everybody's first reaction is. If it was an old player, I think they'd be like, that's reason. More like a hockey thing,
Right. Well, I think the big thing that you look at it, too, is they don't have a farm system. Where are they getting these young refs coming up? Is there a reffing school? Do these guys go to, is there a class they can take? America has instilled the farm system of football where kids are playing, from 3rd grade on, through high school, through college, through the NFL. They get to the game and they know what's going on. Without having, you never see like a high school kid out there learning how to ref. I think that could be something you could look into.
Yeah, you just got to hope Hockey Lee has more kids.
Yeah.
I think Ed Hockey Lee is the farm system. Just him and Mrs. Hockey Lee in there, just creating referees on the whole thing.
Him and Cromartie.
You were teammates with him. That's one of the most Hey, he's a good dude, by the way.
He's a great guy. I love Crow.
I agree. He got painted in a pretty bad light on that Hard Knocks with the naming of his kids and the birthdays. I think there was potentially some editing, is what I was told by Cromartie himself. I'm not sure if that's accurate.
I wasn't there, so I can't say. But, yeah, he definitely took it on the chin and took a beating on that.
So you played for Rex Ryan?
I did.
What was that like? He seems like a spark plug of a man, just an electric factory at all times. Is that accurate?
Well, there's Fat Rex and then there's Skinny Rex.
Okay.
Two very different people. Fat Rex is a riot and hilarious. Reminded me that football's fun again, and we really got after it. Then he got skinny and he got pretty. And next thing you know, he's in New York. He looks great. People are throwing themselves at him. And I think it went to his head, to tell you the truth. I don't know what to do. But I love Rex was awesome. I had a fantastic time with him. He's a fantastic coach. If he ever gets another shot, I think he would do a fantastic job.
Okay. Oh, man, that's so funny. That's like Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
Everybody says when Jonah Hill got skinny, he lost his funny. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers last week said Sam Elliott without the mustache, not good. Sam Elliott with the mustache, good. I do believe these little things matter.
They do. They do.
As an offensive lineman, how's the body feel? How many years did you play in the NFL?
I tricked people for 11 years.
Okay, 11 years in the NFL. Then you're at Ohio State. And then there's high school at Centerville, which is basically college football. They're the Elks, same high school as A.J. Hawk and Jeremy Cash, my holder in college, not to be forgotten about.
Don't forget Herbstreit, too.
Kirk Herbstreit, greatest analyst out there, also from Centerville, Ohio, just gem after gem. How's the
Mike Nugent for the brand?
Mike Nugent, also from Centerville?
Yes.
What's in the water over there? You guys got some greatness in the water over there. I can respect the hell out of that.
Sorry, we sidetracked.
No, it's a real thing, though, is the future of football players. And how do you feel? I mean, you're in one of the toughest positions there is. How does the body feel after all this? And you don't have to dive into the mental part of it. After Gronk said last week he probably had 20 concussions. You're literally in hand-to-hand combat every play of your life. How's the body feel? What do you think can be done going forward? And is this just inherent risk with the game of football that's going to happen?
Body feels really good. I got 4 little ones running around, and I think they hurt me more than football ever did. But it is, playing around with them, having a good time, not waking up every morning feeling terrible after, getting in a car crash every day. But it's one of those things moving forward with the game. It's football. You know what you sign up for. You know what you're getting yourself into. You know you're going to feel terrible. You take the bumps and bruises. You try to be as smart as possible about it. Try to take care of yourself while you're playing, and then after you're done playing. And, it's just it's one of those things. They go hand in hand. You're going to have collisions. You're going to have hits. You just have to be smart about it.
That's I think that's kind of the majority of players' thoughts, by the way. Every once in a while, a player will come out and be like, the NFL lied to me about this, this, and this. And I don't want to say it sounds like a money grab because I don't know what that person's going through. I can never put myself in their shoes. But anytime that stuff comes out, my immediate reaction is like, hey, I was a punter, so I'm nowhere near as physical as you were. But you had to know going into football that at some point there was a potential collision that was going to happen.
Right.
I mean, it's just the way the game of football is played. We live in a wild world, though, where there's a lot of lawsuits, a lot of money to be had. And this goes back to the officiating thing, where there's just billions of dollars up for grabs. You never know what's going to happen.
It's funny. You never see anybody complain that the college lied to them. No one's like, you know what? Alabama lied to me. And, it's always the NFL.
Well, that's because everybody knows that the NFL is making billions. Everybody kind of just assumes that the colleges are making billions.
These in colleges?
Hey, how do you feel about that California legislature that passed it?
I like it. I'm intrigued. I think there's so much money involved. I think college kids do need to be paid, but there needs to be a smart way to do it. And I think that is in a form of a trust. I don't think you can just write them a check. And I think there's different safeguards that you have to put in. But there's just too much money in college football that the guys aren't getting.
Former teammate of yours, Tim Tebow, came out swinging against this. I find it to be quite a polarizing issue, which I didn't think really was going to be the case.
I feel like he came out swinging so hard he must be being paid by the NCAA.
Oh, you think there's a little collusion back there in the back door?
Did you see how hard he fought? Has he fought that hard on anything else?
Well, Jesus. I mean,
Well, good point. All right.
Did you see Darren Ravel tweeted that during his motivational press conference, he was wearing the XV 15 shirt, which would go on to be his logo for the Tim Tebow business while giving that press conference, which a lot of people would say taking advantage of capitalism, which is what the student human athletes are trying to do currently. So it's kind of an interesting situation there, Nick.
The student, yeah. See, should he be allowed to use 15? Doesn't Florida still own that? Right.
The number?
Yeah.
I would argue that Urban Meyer owns every number.
Yeah.
I mean, every single number Urban Meyer owns. Hey, Ohio State looks really good. Do you keep in touch with any of your alumni stuff? Are you still all in on the Buckeyes, or is it just kind of as a fan you just kind of watch good football now?
No, I was actually finally able to get back after 8 years. Our good friend AJ Hawk got inducted to the Hall of Fame, along with Mike Nugent as well. So I got back, got to see some guys, and it was neat. It was neat being back on campus. God, it's changed a lot in 8 years, but I think I want to get back a little bit more.
So AJ Hawk and Mike Nugent went into the Ohio State Hall of Fame?
This is true.
You got invited to go attend their Hall of Fame thing, but you just kind of sat there and watched, or? I
crashed it pretty much. I don't know if anyone actually reached out to see if I wanted to go. I just said I'm. So it worked out well.
Are you in the Hall of Fame already?
No.
What the hell is that about?
What is that all about? Everybody else from your high school is in that damn Hall of Fame except for you? How does that even work? I'd have a little bit of anger towards Ohio State. The Ohio State.
Thank you. Please get it right. Yeah, I wasn't that good in college, so I don't expect that.
You sucked in college, and then what? You got to the NFL and just became an animal?
I mean, I don't think I sucked. I wasn't like breaking down any award banners or anything.
When were you drafted?
First round.
First round, 06.
Yeah, man, you sucked, bro. Hey, I can't fathom how bad you were at college football to get drafted in the first round. You must have been so terrible at Ohio State.
So terrible.
I'm happy. I hope you never go into the Hall of Fame. It would be doing that Hall of Fame a disservice if some terrible football player like you got in there.
I know, right? You'd be knocking it down for all the greats that came before me.
Okay, are the Jets ever going to be good this year? Who wins tonight? And I can't thank you enough for stopping by. We need you in studio here when we're in New York at some point.
Yes, we will. I love coming down the Fort World Trade. It's a beautiful spot. Jets and Browns tonight. It's going to be wild. If the defense can stop Baker Mayfield and the offensive line can make some holes for our friend Le'Veon Bell, I have the Jets winning 17-13.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And one more time, I'm being told to ask you about sportsbettingdimes.com, which we covered at literally the beginning of this conversation, but people are telling me in my ear to cover that again. So what is sportsbettingdimes.com, which is what you were covering? We talked about it earlier to the show. If you're a publicist for sportsbettingdimes.com or somebody from Westwood One or from DAZN that didn't listen to the first 5 minutes of this conversation, what is sportsbettingdimes.com so they can hear it again, Nick?
Sportsbettingdime.com.
Oh, that's probably why I was asked to do it again. That's 100% on me.
That's the Midwestern, and you add an essence to it.
I think.
Sportsbettingdime.com. Check it out. You can go there, get all your free research tools, check things out. You can see different lines from different sports bet books. And it's a great tool to have.
Well, I'm very thankful for sportsbettingdime.com for getting this dime of a gentleman on the show. Future Hall of Famer, both in the NFL and the Ohio State. We're going to make that right. Born in Centerville, played center.
Write that down.
We did. It's on the screen if you're watching live at home. Ladies and gentlemen, one of my favorite humans to ever play football. How's the cooking going? Big Green Egg, you still brisketing?
Yeah, grinding away. I'm doing some pulled pork that would knock your socks off.
I need my socks to get knocked off immediately. All right, well, I can't thank you enough, Mr. Mangold. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Mangold. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. That's a guy, though, that you want to have a beer with. I got a chance to have a beer with him. We were kind of he was literally forced to have a beer with me because we're all in the back of that NFL draft thing. And once we started throwing it was me, him, Shane Leckler, no big deal, name drop. It was the first night I talked to Reggie Wayne, too, which was cool after being teammates with him for 7 years. He is just a fascinating man, incredibly intelligent, very good at football, and universally beloved by all his teammates, which means the most to me than anything else.
Yeah, he also hung around at the Super Bowl when we were at Topgolf for like 3-4 hours. You know, we did like a 15-minute, 20-minute spot with him and then just kind of hung out with all of us and drank with us after that. He's a great guy.
Good guy. Jets, though, not good at football. Will they turn that around tonight? Who knows? We're in the big city talking to you. 1-833-622-3331. Let's get to the phones on the other side of the break. Big thanks to Nick Mangold. Please tweet him. Also, shout out to the publicist, sportsbettingdime.com.
Not plural.
Just one dime. Not numerous. I respect it. We'll be back on the other side. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. It is 10:46 a.m. here on this Monday, September 16th. I just got a chance to go to the bathroom real quick, check the internet. My take on the refs costing a lot of people games, money, and jobs over there on the Get Up show this morning is quite a hot one on the internet, by the way.
Rightfully so.
I'm assuming that the ref union is going to be reaching out to me, wishing death upon me, and that's okay with me. I got broad shoulders, especially in the sport coat that David Allen put together. Let's get to the phones. Zito is 100% in control of the phones.
Yes.
Jose Perez, Zito, who do we got on the line? What are they going to talk about?
I think we have Kenny from New Orleans.
Okay, Kenny from New Orleans. What do you want to talk about, brother?
Vegas. I'm actually from Las Vegas, but want to talk about that Saints game.
That's on me.
You know, out here in Vegas, us locals like to bet on the games just as much as the tourists. And
Okay.
I had a 5-team parlay that was coming down to the Saints and the Rams. And I was hoping that Drew Brees and what I imagined to be a massive lower region to carry me to victory on this parlay.
Yeah.
And gets hurt, but it's okay. Saints defense is doing great things, big things. And Cam Jordan takes one back for a touchdown. I'm like, here we go. Jumper for joy. I got this one. And then the refs decide to fornicate that one up once again.
Thank you for doing that, Kenny, by the way.
Yeah, of course. And lost all my money. So, don't know what's going on there.
Well, Kenny, are you a Saints fan or just yesterday because you gambled on them?
Just yesterday because I gambled on them.
So this is a bigger issue, though, with these refs. As sports gambling continues to grow, there's going to be more and more people like Kenny in Las Vegas who have a lot of money invested in this thing. So if these refs continue to get things wrong, like the Cam Jordan take back, like things like that, I mean, this is only going to get worse and worse for people. It is literally only going to get worse, Ty.
Well, it's just they're turning it into a judgment call every single time. Like when you can challenge something and then they can go back and basically look over the entire play and see something that they definitely wouldn't have seen before. Like I don't know how you combat that.
Well, and they're supposed to let them play. They're
Right.
supposed to let it play out, and then we'll do it afterwards if we have to. That, by the way, Walt Anderson. I didn't want to say it. Walt Anderson and I have bad blood with each other.
Sure.
He doesn't know it. This is a one-way hate trip, and I hate him. But I'm sure he's done a lot for the game, by the way. Walt has been
course.
reffing for 65 years in the NFL.
a long
This is
time.
the 100th season of the NFL. Walt might have been there for every single one of them. When Steve Sable was calling things down there at the frozen tundra in Lambeau, he might have been talking about Walt Anderson ice skating across there as Bart Starr continued to do stuff. But we're at a point now where this stuff needs to change. It really does, because it's a real problem. Whenever you got Ty Schmidt, who couldn't do this before legally, but now that sports gambling is getting real, you have zero interest in the Rams-Saints game. Zero.
Right.
It's on TV. I'll watch it maybe. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put $10 in this thing because I got a horse in the race now. And you, just like Kenny, you're betting on the Saints, and all of a sudden you see Walt. This game that you have zero interest in, all of a sudden, now you feel like you got screwed by the NFL. And the refs are the face of the game, right? They are the face of the game. So when they're up there, it is, and then they turn off the mic, and then the mic's still on. Hey, who was it on? It was on what? That whole thing, the stumbling moment. It's bad for the game. It really is, and it's bad for Kenny's pocket, to be honest. I don't like it.
I mean, they had their hands directly in the outcome of like 3 or 4 games this weekend.
And then the review of pass interference, which such a massive play, pass interference. I mean, Joe Flacco made a career off of it. He's still living off of that. Pass interference calls, now they're like reviewing them and going by letter of the law, as opposed to where everybody's like, yo, we get it. It's a judgment call. You got to do what you got to do. There's no winning, I don't think, with the refs. I honestly think there's no winning. And if you're a Saints fan, by the way, Ian Rappaport just put out a tweet that is not good news for you.
No.
6 weeks out, Drew Brees, torn ligament in his thumb, going to need surgery. Steve Shin, Dr. Steve Shin, was the ligament specialist, thumb specialist, hand specialist that made that designation. But the good news for the Saints is if Teddy Bridgewater can get right in that offense with Sean Payton pulling the strings. Or if Taysom Hill, who Sean Payton's been calling Steve Young, by the way, can get in there and make some plays. 6 weeks from now, Drew Brees is rested. Last season, it seemed as if he might have had a little bit of a noodle arm there at the end, a lot of shoulder shrugging by him. Rest that shoulder, rest that arm, get a nice 6-week break, get a brand new thumb. Hello, we're back in the game, Drew Brees.
Yeah, I mean, they need to let Teddy Two Gloves throw the ball around the field a little bit more.
Oh, you said they're restricting Teddy Two Gloves too much.
It looked like it. He was throwing just like 3-4 yard slants, checkdowns the entire game, and they just didn't get. After Breeze left, it was like 50% of the playbook available to them was just eliminated.
I'm looking out over New York City right now, okay? Literally, probably millions of people can see me right now if I was to drop my drawers. There's a lot of people here. Everybody here has heard Sean Payton talk about how good Taysom Hill is. We ain't getting rid of him for nothing. A lot of other people in the trade for him. He's our wide receiver. He's the punt protector, personal protector on the punt team. He was a returner at one point. He's a quarterback. He's running back. He's everything. When push came to shove to see if you would put him in the game, wouldn't put him in the game. Went with Teddy instead.
Yeah, and I mean I would too. It'd be like you said, Teddy Bridgewater, highest paid backup quarterback in the league. You got to play him. That's the reason they got him.
We went a little hard at him this morning on ESPN about Teddy looking terrible because he did. He looked bad.
Yeah.
But not too long ago, Teddy Bridgewater was up for MVP conversations. Whenever he came back with the Minnesota Vikings, they were like, this team's hot. Teddy's about to lead the Vikings back. And then wham, non-contact injury in training camp that sent shockwaves across the entire NFL. Everybody was like T's and P's for Teddy Bridgewater. Now he's kind of made his way back, went to the Jets for like a $500,000 guarantee deal. Now he's at the Saints' highest paid backup. He's an incredible football player. I do believe that he's an incredible football player. But were those days behind him? Is Taysom Hill your best option because he can make something out of
nothing?
That's the business we're in, especially in this studio that we're in right now.
I would also assume that Minnesota wishes they still had Teddy Bridgewater.
Hey, Kirk Cousins stinks, huh?
Terrible.
I don't like saying that because you don't know what's going on. You don't know what the play calls are. You don't know this. But it seems like in those big moments when all these lights come on, that's when you find out who's got a little gut sack down there.
Right.
And it seems like Kirk Cousins loses his in those big moments. The Packers, which you are part owner of,
Correct.
looked incredible yesterday.
Incredible.
Is that because the Packers were, or is it because the Vikings are bad? That's a question to really ask.
I mean, the Packers looked really good early. Their defense is legit this year, which is nice, not having to rely on Rodgers to do everything. But I don't like when you're up 21-0 like that in like the first quarter, you got to try to step on their throat.
Bury them!
They just they let the Vikings hang around, and they almost got, they almost lost because of it.
I don't like Wake Forest did that the other night
Exactly.
against UNC. And it seems to be the prevent defense thing. The only thing it really prevents you from is winning big.
That's right. And the Vikings, I mean, they have a great defense. Dalvin Cook is really good. They just need a quarterback who doesn't make mistakes, and Cousins had 3 turnovers yesterday. I mean, he just stinks.
Dalvin Cook looked like he might run a 4-1 yesterday. Yeah. He was just pulling away from everybody. I think he's the top rusher, number 2 rusher in the league right now.
Sounds about right.
Behind Marlon Mack, who's potentially number 1 with the Colts. But they got Adam Thielen, too, and Adam Thielen 2.0. I don't know that other little white kid that's balling out there.
BB.
Yeah, and they got Kyle Rudolph. They got Stefon Diggs. Take your helmet off, which, I mean, that's an aggressive move. This is the same thing. Everybody knows the rules. Mm-hmm. You can't do that. Now, granted, get some FaceTime, which I respect. The last time he took his helmet off after a touchdown was one of the biggest moments in NFL history,
right.
Minneapolis Miracle. So I'll let it slide. You're excited. You're in Lambeau. Take the helmet off. Go ahead and chirp a little bit. But, boy, if that extra point that you push back to a 48-yarder cost you the game, you got to feel like real dum-dum. You got to feel like a real dum-dum tie.
Exactly.
We got 30 seconds to the end of this first hour. 1-833-622-3331. Can't wait to get to more calls because it leads to conversations like this. There was a really cool graphic that just went across the screen. We have no idea what it is. I know Foxy wasn't in charge of that. We're not really in charge of anything. But we got more for you on the other side. Is Roethlisberger dead? Who knows? You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Zito, what happened out there, bub?
Alan, how's it all right?
You said Kenny from New Orleans. He's from Las Vegas, Zito.
That was on me. He said Saints. And I insinuated. It's a big word.
No, assumed would be the word, not insinuated. Insinuated would be what you, like, that's just not accurate. You assumed he was from New Orleans because you wanted to talk Saints.
Tomato, tomato.
No. You're 0 for 1, Zeke.
Good call, though.
I think on the other side, you're going to do great, though.
It's only up from here. Or down. I don't know.
When did you hang up on Kenny? I thought I heard him there a little bit during the answer. This is Dave, by the way, everybody that's watching. This is Big Dave. He's from New Jersey. Look at that beard.
What's up, Dave?
Slick back hair. This guy gets things done if you need him to.
Is he Italian?
I don't think he's Italian. He looks like, what are you?
Irish Italian.
You're Irish Italian? You are? Me too. I'm Irish.
Are you?
German Italian.
Very good.
0.09% Italian. Me. 23 and me.
Very good. Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. I'm just going to switch your IFB cable.
Please do. It's an Irish Italian feel up right here. It's going good.
Has anyone ever told you look like Mark Tauscher?
Today?
It's a deep cut time.
Yeah, for sure. Brett Favre's left tackle for the Packers.
That's good. Let's get to him.
Still working on a podcast guest for later today. Did you take Carly Lloyd, the soccer player?
Yes. 1,000,000%.
And for us other names, Pat Chip, Dante Stallworth,
Yeah.
Matt Forte. Back on.
Yeah.
Ray Taylor.
Yes.
And then the future Tim Dye.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, big time.
Yes.
Big time.
Because he was on the internet just burying refs, right? Look at this guy making this call. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Logan.
Nice first hour.
Hey, thanks, Brum. Thanks, Brum. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you.
This did about a minute.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dave. Is the music guy back there? Can he hear me? Hey, come on, dance with me. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we'll go in, we'll go out, we'll go in, we'll go out. You know what I mean? Dance with you and me. Yeah. Show open when we're back, and then. But I'm talking about in and out of breaks. Come on, let's dance together a little bit. I appreciate you, man. What's your name? Alan. It's a great name.
Alan's a good guy.
Alan, you didn't deserve to get buried there. That was more about Foxy getting buried, but you just so happened to be the ricochet shot there. Because, Alan, you don't want to mess anything up. Oh, the way that was said.
Asian from middle vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
That is right, Chase Rice. This is the Pat McAfee Show, broadcasting live from 4 World Trade. I
Correct.
just learned from Nick Mangold on how it's supposed to be announced. Joining me in studio here, Ty Schmidt, producer. Ty Schmidt is what he's normally known as. He's been on a road trip for like 4 or 5 days here.
Yep.
Excited to get back home this afternoon, I assume?
Yeah, absolutely. But then obviously tomorrow we turn around and we are leaving right again. So we'll be
Yes.
back in Indy for about 17, 18 hours, but it'll be nice.
The next 13 weeks are going to be a nice give and take with hotels and home, but we're lucky to be doing it. We're excited to be here. Zito's on the phones, 1-833-622-3331 if you'd like to chat. Kenny from Las Vegas with a great New Orleans Saints take there, but how he had money on them, and Walt Anderson basically screwed him out of it. And that's going to be something that's going to continue to happen until we get the officiating things fixed, which we talked to Nick Mangold in the first hour about. We need something other than hockey leagues fornicating with each other to be a better farm system for refs.
Right, or maybe Gene Steratore, too. He is also very good.
Love Gene
Yeah,
Steratore.
big Gene guy.
The issue is with these refs that are good, they're all going to get TV gigs, which are much better than actually reffing. By the way.
Exactly.
Do you want to go out there and just get booed and potentially cost people millions and billions of dollars, or you want to come up here and get the royal treatment on television like that John Perry guy got?
Exactly.
You get 4 spots on prime time to go ahead and just say whatever you want. If you're wrong, who cares? Just move forward because everybody's normally wrong with the rules. Evan Foxy's in the director's chair in the back of SNY here. We are so thankful to be joining you today. It's Foxy.
Glad to have you guys.
Zito coming up like a groundhog in the back of that.
I mean, this is just a complete, it's a hilarious operation. For those that haven't listened to the first hour and we just kind of popped in your headsets here or on your radio, welcome to the show. We started the show in the basement, my basement. Now we're in 4 World Trade, which is overlooking the entire New York City. And we're just giving takes on sports on sports. And that's what we're supposed to do. I asked the question going in, is Ben Roethlisberger dead? The Pittsburgh Steelers and everybody in Pittsburgh had the mindset that we get rid of Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. Almost flipped the table here. Football team will be better. We get rid of the best wide receiver in football, get him out of the locker room. He's a cancer to our team. We get rid of him, we're better off. Lev Bell, what's he want to do? He wants to rap, sit on yachts, and make money. Get him out of there, too. This is Big Ben Roethlisberger's team. Addition by subtraction. We got Juju, who's an incredible football player.
He is.
Learned something last Sunday night. His name's Josh Smith, originally. Juju Smith-Schuster. Cooler name. Incredible football player. Good for the city. Good for the game. James Conner. Incredible story. Great running back. Seems like he's potentially hurt as well.
Yes.
You get rid of 2 incredible players who are potentially a distraction. Well, definitely a distraction. I
Right.
mean, there's a lot going on. You bank on Ben Roethlisberger. Then Roethlisberger gets hurt in week 2, not with a boot, which is his standard operation, which they know how to deal with. Okay, we got the shoe that is built like a cast. We use it every year for Ben Roethlisberger by week 3, week 4. The training staff knows the ins and outs of the boot. This one is a non-contact elbow injury, which is something that could scare the hell out of you if you're watching. When I watched it, I was like, wait a minute. That's not from a hit. That's not from an awkward thing. That might be from sleeping wrong or maybe throwing footballs for your entire life. You potentially get a little tennis elbow.
Sure.
Can't speculate. I was told that whenever I'm calling games, don't speculate. Even though I saw a kid clearly dislocate his shoulder, pop it back in, go back in the game, I wasn't allowed to say that because that's speculating on injuries. Roethlisberger one kind of scares me. It should scare Pittsburgh as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you hear no contact like that with the elbow, I mean, I don't have any evidence to back it up, but I just immediately assume that he needs Tommy John on his elbow.
Nobody's brought up the word Tommy John yet this morning, which surprises me.
Exactly.
It was the first thing I thought of whenever we were in the ESPN pre-production meeting this morning. But I'm taught so much not to speculate now because who knows what it could be. That does seem like an old tennis elbow there, doesn't it?
I mean, a lot of wear and tear, a lot of mileage on that arm.
Drew Brees, it's come out. He is out for 6 weeks. Scary for the Saints. What are they going to do? I think they should play Taysom Hill, let him get in there and get loose. Maybe Teddy Bridgewater carries the load, but why not have a Taysom Hill package, much like the Colts were going to have for me going into the last game whenever Andrew Luck had died that season. Hasselbeck had died. Charlie Whitehurst had died. We were down to Josh Freeman, Ryan Lindley, and old Pat McAfee. I had an own package. I think that's something you got to do. Take advantage of your strengths, not your weaknesses. But quarterbacks getting injured is not good for the NFL.
No, it's not.
This is why the rules have changed completely, is to protect the big investments. We can't have the guys that sell all the jerseys, make all the plays, create all the fantasy points, and ultimately decide games getting hurt. Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger going down, not good. Andrew Luck retiring, not good. Now you're talking about 3 big-name quarterbacks out just 2 weeks into the season. Who knows what's going to happen? I think it opens up the field a little bit more, though.
Yeah, I mean, and you can see when you look at it, Mason Rudolph played pretty well yesterday, but for the most part, those teams are just a shell of who they were when those guys aren't playing.
Get rid of Antonio Brown. Get rid of Le'Veon Bell. This is Big Ben's team. I'm going down to Permanis, eating a Roethlisberger every night. Boom, he's out. Now what do you do? Who knows? I asked the question on Get Up because I'm a hot take taker now.
Yep.
You put me in that ESPN chair and I'm a hot take taker. Will the Steelers ever win a game? Who knows? Will the Detroit Lions have company in the 0-16 world? Who knows? It's not the city of Pittsburgh. I know that. That ain't the way they roll.
Well, and, you know, I feel bad for our guys back home because they were just so close yesterday, too.
My God.
You know,
I watched that game with Frank Moraldo.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. and it was on one of the screens, and all you would hear is stupid, just out of nowhere. Just there's so much passion in Pittsburgh for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's so many people. That's why whenever Antonio Brown and Lev Bell were disrespecting the Steelers, basically is how they felt it.
Sure.
It was like, hey, not around here. You might be able to go do that over there with the Raiders or even with the Bengals or Brownies, but not in Pittsburgh. You don't do that. Need them to get the hell out of here. And then now, hey, you made your bed.
Now you got to sleep in it.
That quote right there, by the way, that ain't nothing to
sneeze at, really. Go be a stooge or a sellout somewhere else.
I would love to hear Mark Madden's takes this
Oh,
morning.
I know.
About the whole thing. Zito, do we have anybody on the phone lines? Let's get to the calls. By the way, for those that are just tuning in, might have been listening to another show. It's probably better than this one. Sorry, we got forced into your ears. I cannot control the callers. I have no idea who's on the phone line. I have no idea when we're going to break. But Zito is controlling all those things from a production room that is larger than our entire office back in Indianapolis. Zito, who's on the line? What do they want to talk about?
Mike from Richmond. He wants to talk about Week 2 reactions.
Okay, Mike from Richmond, Virginia. How's it going? Let's hear it, bub.
What's up, man? So I got some Week 2 overreactions. I got 3 of them for you.
Okay.
One you pretty much already discussed. Pittsburgh's done. Number 2, can we just put the Patriots in the Super Bowl now? And number 3, MVP race is going to be Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Both are lighting it up. So take it away.
Okay, Mike, I appreciate that. I do wonder if the Steelers are dead. I wonder if the Steelers are dead. I think that's a real question, by the way, because yesterday seemed like a game that they could have won and they just didn't. In those close games, you learn a lot about a team. You learn a lot about a culture. And right now, with Ben going down and there's not a lot of veteran leadership in there, it's good. Not that they had that before, by the way. When AB and Lev Bell were there, I'm not saying they were veteran leaders.
Right.
They seem to be a bit of a distraction, although nobody talks bad about Lev Bell. Even James Conner says Lev Bell was like a good OG for me. So I don't know if Lev Bell was more of a distraction outside the locker room than inside. I think people hated him in Pittsburgh because he's smoking the weed, he's doing the rap, he's freestyling in front yard about how he needs 17 M's. In the locker room, though, I think he was very well respected.
Well, he did say the thing about his linemen, didn't he? That was like kind of the last parting shot before he was done.
Oh, yeah.
About how they paid all them, but they won't pay me. And
Yeah, I mean, the business side of it can get ugly, which it did. Mm-hmm. So they don't really have a veteran presence in there, which can lead you the other way. But also, you would think maybe the young culture can turn it around because they're not used to losing. Juju Smith-Schuster did not sign up to lose. Juju Smith-Schuster likes to be active off the field. And to be active off the field, you have to be good on the field. I learned that. I was very quiet when I sucked at punting, which I did my first couple years. But once I got good, those Twitter fingers started moving. 140 characters at a damn time. The Lamar Jackson thing is incredible. Before the year, going into the offseason, you thought the Baltimore Ravens and Harbaugh were literally changing football. We're going to get rid of everybody. We're going to bring in all these tight ends. We're going to grind and pound this thing until other teams can figure it out. Then Lamar Jackson went to a precision passing school this offseason and became a dime tosser on a regular basis. He's fun to watch.
he is.
And I'm not sure that defensive coordinators in the NFL, who get paid millions of dollars, by the way, to figure out how to stop this type of thing, are going to be able to anytime soon. There's so many options there. You got to worry about Hollywood Brown getting loose down there, but also the tight ends are just a weapon. Anytime you can just dunk it to a tight end, which they have like 75 of them, that just keeps you safe. That keeps you off the quarterback. I think Lamar Jackson could be great. Patrick Mahomes, wheeling and dealing. He's on pace to throw 56 touchdowns. That's a lot of touchdowns. That's more touchdowns than I've ever thrown, obviously. But that is an incredible offensive force. But we've talked about this in past, not since we've gone on a global scale. By the way, shout out Canada, Italy, and starting tomorrow, Germany. Respect to them and to us for getting on there.
Right.
I mean, good for us.
No, yeah, of course.
Started in a basement. Now we're here. Start from the bottom, literally, basement. Now we're here. Was Drizzy talking about us? We'll never know. We'll never know. We'll never know.
Many will speculate.
But it is Andy Reid season right now. Andy Reid is notorious for coming out guns a-blazing. It's like Andy Reid has no discipline or patience. Every play that he's drawn up in the offseason just gets dumped out in the first 10 weeks. overloads people with everything. Incredible play designs, incredible play calling, incredible situational football. We saw it a couple years ago when they just blew the doors off of the New England Patriots week 1. Will they be able to withstand and keep it moving? Remember, they're about a half a yard away from being in the Super Bowl because D Ford lines up off sides. I'm excited to watch the growth of Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I like them a lot. But with that being said, who's going to win the MVP over Tom Brady? Who's going to win the MVP over Tom Brady? If they go on to do what they're going to do and they add Antonio Brown alongside Julian Edelman, Phillip Dorsett, who has had a complete awakening with the New England Patriots. I got a chance to see Phillip Dorsett when he was with the Colts. We spent a first-round draft pick on Phillip Dorsett.
Yep.
I watch him in practice make these magnificent grabs. We're talking about one-handers, mossing people in practice, taking the deep ball, taking the top off the defense daily in practice against our defense, our starting defense. And then when games started, we never got him the ball. And I was always like, hey, why don't we give this guy the ball or just throw it up to him? He's making big plays. I'm happy to see he's found his rhythm in New England. But with Antonio Brown, who let's assume is going to continue to be incredible on the football field, granted, who knows what's going to happen off football field, which might be him being suspended. But even if he is suspended, they don't care.
No, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Tom Brady is probably going to win the MVP again. And we've said this a few times on the show. Super Bowl is on Groundhog's Day, and it feels like that's the case with this Patriots team. But can Indianapolis Colts get hot? Can Jacoby Brissett settle into his play? Can that defense led by the maniac Darius Leonard play football? Who knows? Will the Browns tonight flip their entire season around after being dogged into dog pound by everybody after wearing a $350,000 watch and getting the doors blown off of them by the Tennessee Titans? Will the Cleveland Browns be able to turn it around? Who knows? The AFC is not really as much of a question mark as the NFC is now, especially with Drew Brees hurt, but it feels like the Patriots are going to go on a run again.
Yeah, probably.
It's annoying. It's annoying, but you gotta respect it. But it's annoying.
There's no reason to really even watch them. Like you check back in with them in December or so and see where they're at.
Yeah, thought so. Oh, Tom, 43-0 they won. Oh, okay. Oh, good. They normally struggled in Miami. Oh, is that because they got a couple guys to travel over to Tootsie's or what is? Oh, they won by 43. Okay, because the Miami Miracle happened last year. Only a little stumble by them late in the season. Gronk playing safety, stumbling all over himself. Had to take CBD medic to get over it. He's fixed, by the way, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Good for Gronk.
Yep,
Completely
I'm
fixed.
very happy for him.
9 surgeries, 20 concussions. He's fixed. That's awesome. I love the Gronk.
Yeah, he's the best.
I literally love the Gronk. That was a wild statement by him. Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to him at some point about it all. But they lose Gronk, and somehow their offense gets even better. It makes no sense what's happening up there. And until the end of time, I think the world will be bewildered by what Bill Belichick has been able to do.
Yeah, I mean...
Did that sentence make sense, what I just said?
Yeah.
Good for me. That's what we do here. Let's get to a break and get some phone calls on the other side. If you're not watching along online, please know that Ty Schmidt's mustache, hat, and polo right now, perched above New York City like this, looks legendary, like that Minshew character that we think should have got the ball for that 2-point conversion. We'll talk about that, all the other storylines, and answer your calls on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Okay, welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. I am Pat McAfee, sitting right across a round table 50 floors above Earth in 4 World Trade from Ty Schmidt. Ty, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's been a good day so far. How you doing, Pat?
It hasn't been bad at all. You know, it hasn't been bad at all. Just got a chance to take a piss next to a guy named Solly, who's cutting cameras for us over here at SNY because the studio's too expensive for us to do it. Foxy's sitting over his shoulder calling the shots, which normally we'd be very against. Solly, good guy, though.
Yeah, Sully's a great guy. We talked to him a little bit yesterday. He said, listen, I know what you guys' show's like. You're in good hands with me.
Hey, and his name's Solly.
Yeah, great name.
Big fan of the Sullivan.
Foxy, also a fan of him. Foxy's back there calling shots, so yelling at people and stuff like that, which I can respect. I mean, he started to chirp off at me a little bit, which, I mean, take it easy, Foxy.
It's an interesting situation because I definitely am the youngest person in probably this entire building, and I'm telling people what to do, and I'm just not good at that.
Yeah, but look, you got your little headset on. I mean, you're sitting in front of these guys. I mean, this is a very cute operation. We have Dave, stage manager, sitting in here. Never heard our show before today. I think he's enjoying it. We might have made a new fan. Also, just launched our FanDuel partnership on the Twitter. If you're in a state that has legal online gambling, tonight's over-under for the Monday Night Football has been lowered 4 points if you go to FanDuel.com/McAfee. Plus, it's even money. If you're a gambling person, you'd be dumb not to take advantage of that. Best odds on earth, FanDuel.com/McAfee. Very thankful for them. And I pandered and trolled the hell out of our release video. Check that out on Twitter. Zito, is there anybody on the phone lines?
Yes, sir. We got Gary from Connecticut wants to talk about how bad the Giants stink.
Gary, our guy from Connecticut, great to hear from you again. We missed you during our hiatus, heard from you last week. What are your thoughts on the Giants? You hate them, huh?
Oh, Pat, it's taking years off my life, man. It's not. I'm usually like a happy, upbeat dude. Catching myself yelling at Greg Gumbel, getting mad at Chuck Green. They start showing stats, which you can't make it up. They're showing stats where the Buffalo Bills quarterback hasn't thrown over 300 yards in 34 games. And I'm like, the last time the Giants' defense was good, I'm telling you, JPP had 10 fingers, Pat. That's how we want it.
Gary, we're not allowed to laugh at that.
They want to boo Eli. They want to boo Eli like it's Eli's fault. You get a holding penalty. It's 1st and 20. Next play, 51-yard pass to Cole Beasley. Wide open. Wide open. It is so bad. I don't want it. It's not fair. It's not fair. If you have problems with your lady or husband, you can divorce him. If you don't like your job, you can quit. I'm stuck with these Giants. I can't go nowhere. It's not right. My wife and daughter, they're home. They're laughing, snickering. And I'm yelling. I see Shaq at Papa John's. Now I'm Pop. Shaq never made no pizza in his life. I'm like angry Gary watching football.
Gary.
Patriot fans I work with, these guys already they got hotel reservations for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I just want one win. I just want to watch the Giants win one game, but I'm great.
Gary,
oh, my God, dude.
Gary, the Patriots thing is tough for everybody across the country. The Patriots are the number one enemy for every fan base across the country. As a Giants fan, though, watching the Boo Birds come out, when that defense, by the way, I don't know if they will be for the rest of the season, but they stink. Yeah. That Giants defense stinks. And there's no way you can move Daniel Jones into the lineup now because who knows how it'll go. The kid's confidence might get crushed. But with that being said, they could have drafted somebody to help that defense early. They could have drafted maybe somebody to protect Eli a little bit. Maybe give him another weapon since you shipped the guy that proposed to a kicking net out of town. Do you think that the Giants front office, when they decided to draft Daniel Jones with the first pick in the first round of the draft, they had any idea or thought about at all that if Eli struggles just a little bit, the Boo Birds are going to come flocking into MetLife Stadium? Do you think that was even talked about or thought about, or are they just caring about the future and who cares about this year?
I really don't think they care about the future. It's like the old saying, they throw one to the alligators to save themselves for another day. We watch Coughlin run out of town. We watch McAdoo run out of town. Yeah. Perry Fuel, the defensive coordinator, Spagnuolo, one after another, go, and everyone keeps saying Eli. It's not Eli. These guys are going on the field. giving up 3rd and 13, 1st and 20. They got guys, they got nicknames, the Janoris Jenkins, the Jackrabbit. Dude, you're a Volkswagen Rabbit on 3 cylinders, Cutler. You stink. They are horrible. That's because I was spoiled growing up. I had LT, Carl Banks, Pepper Johnson. Then I watched guys like Justin Tuck and the 10-finger JPP, not the one with the big donut glove, not that guy. So I watched great Giants defense. But this is like college, high school. It's like community college defense. They never break up a pass.
Community college.
It's horrible. It's not even funny. My neighbors think that me and my lady got domestic problems because all they hear, they just hear these curse words screaming out of their head from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and then here comes Gary outside taking out the trash, looking like Charlie Brown, sad face with the like Lucy pulled the football, and I got my Giants gnome. He thinks it's his fault. I put my Giants gnome on the coffee table every game, and every time the Giants gnome gets cursed out when I bring him back downstairs. It's just not right. It's not fair. It's not right, guys.
Well, Gary,
I feel better now. This is like you're like Dr. Phil, dude. The therapy. I feel great now.
Hey, let it out, man. One of my best friends might be retiring, people are saying. I mean, I got a lot of problems, too. I'm happy to hear, though, that you got through it there. I think the Giants in the future are going to be better off. I'm just not sure. The decision, though, to draft another quarterback, after the Eli Manning-Geno Smith situation happened, it seems like they've set themselves up for this entire situation. There's just zero...
But honestly, Pat, it looks like they do have a good young core nucleus. The tight end... Ingram, he looks good. You got Saquon Barkley, who is a legitimate back. He is a real deal. Like the Giants they had guys like Tiki Barber, and they had guys like Brandon Jacobs and Ahmad Bradshaw. They were decent, but this guy seems like he could be a legitimate stud, superstar, Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith caliber.
Saquon
Jones, he looks really good. So you have young guys. You got Sterling Shepard. They have a good young group, but if they don't fix this defense, it's all for naught. It doesn't matter how good. They could put up 35 a game. They're going to lose by 40 because they can't get off the field. I feel bad for the guys. Honestly, I feel bad for the guys. And you got Pat Schumer. He's just happy to have a job, dude. He's like me. He's just – them checks don't bounce, so he's chilling. He's good.
Well, Gary, I appreciate that.
Thanks. I love you, man. I'm so glad you're back on the air. Anyone listening to Pat for the first time, this guy is the truth. He's the real deal.
Now we're talking, Gary. Now we're talking, Gary.
He's the next GOAT, the next legend, and not just radio, everything.
That makes you feel good, doesn't it?
TV. This guy's got WWE on lock. He's doing college games.
I like
Pat
this.
does it all, baby. He's not a one-trick pony. He's the future. And all you guys going around, step up your game because Pat's coming for them checks. Later, guys.
I appreciate you, Gary. I mean, a little fluff job
All right,
there.
brother.
Yeah, not bad.
You know what I mean? Just a little fluff there from Gary. That makes you feel good. You could really, really taste his anger, though, for that Giants thing. And he's in the same neighborhood as Jets fans, by the way. So it's almost like I would assume his neighbors are like, are you kidding me with your anger? Our quarterback got mono.
I mean, the Giants are going to stink until Dave Gettleman buries the hatchet with Mike Francesa. It's about as simple as that. You know, didn't want him to come to training camp. You upset the sports pope. Guess what? You're going to be cursed until you remedy that situation.
It doesn't get talked about enough. That
it doesn't.
Is that the problem with the Giants? Were those people booing not Eli, but booing Gettleman for being angry and not allowing Francesa the access that he once had? These are all questions that we'll never know the answer to because we can't dive inside the minds of the boo birds and ask them what exactly that's being directed towards. The Giants, though, man. So much pub. It's like the Cowboys. The Giants are always on TV because obviously New York. I mean, look over our shoulder here. There's so many humans here. So just their local game is going to draw more humans to watch than any game basically across the country. The LA Rams are gaining a lot of steam, obviously. Big city. Bandwagoners, though, if they suck, that entire city's gone.
For sure.
These New York fans are diehards, right? So you see a lot of them on national television. You see a lot of the Dallas Cowboys on national television, mostly because Jerry Jones is a pretty big negotiator for the TV rights. So we got to tickle his taint a little bit if we're a TV company because we want Jerry Jones to be happy and keep us with our rights to air games.
Right.
But this is the first year in a long time it feels as if the Dallas Cowboys aren't just a ridiculous joke, blowhard, overhyped team.
They look good.
They look good. I said this morning. Greenberg and everybody at ESPN during the break told me, maybe don't say that next time. Jason Witten has single-handedly saved his legacy after he tried to demolish it last year in that Monday Night Football booth. He tried his best. There's a lot of people that have no idea about Jason Witten other than the fact that the guy's got rocks for brains and can't speak over a Monday Night Football game. There's a lot of people that do. By the way, Jason Witten, very smart man, good man, philanthropical man, great teammate. Everybody says good things about him, except for the people that had to listen to him on Monday Night Football last year.
Right. Broadcasting is not for everyone. He made that pretty apparent last year, but he looks good on the field now.
Sometimes you got to kick yourself in the toe and pull a rabbit out of your head and really go back to the game and create your legacy again. But he's becoming a safety valve yet again for Dak Prescott. Jason Witten has just picked up right where he left off a year ago. No hair. Got rid of the hair. Just tried to erase that Monday Night Football memory completely, which, by the way, I am happy that's the case because I am a massive Jason Witten football fan. Not so much the other things, but I think he learned that and went back there. Dak Prescott, same thing that happened with Lamar Jackson. They became these precision passers, just dropping balls in buckets. The Cowboys seem, with a young, fast defense, good special teams, the Cowboys seem like they have a really good team this year for the first time in what seems to be forever. Zeke hops off the beach in Cabo, got a ridiculous haircut, ridiculous beard, somehow still in shape, donates $100,000, scoring touchdowns the first 2 weeks. He's broken off. Amari Cooper's a player. I like the Cowboys all of a sudden, so that sucks for the Giants, though. That sucks for the Giants, sucks for the Redskins that seem to... I mean, the Redskins just seem to be in a real problem.
Case Keenum actually played pretty well yesterday, too. I just think, same deal. I think their defense is trash, and they just can't stop anybody.
And then the Eagles, that injury tent wasn't big enough last night. That injury tent was not big enough for the Philadelphia Eagles. They needed a double wide to fit every one of their star players in there, and they still almost got a win because of Carson Wentz magical. See, I wasn't all in on Carson Wentz. I wasn't. Whenever they decided to pick Carson Wentz over Big Richard, Nick Foles, I had a lot of questions. I was like, this doesn't seem like a smart move. What? Just because you drafted the guy, you feel like you have to stick with him? Nick Foles went out there and won you a Super Bowl. Carson Wentz didn't. It seems like he's fragile. The guy's glass. He can't play. Yeah, he might be talented, but you need, the best ability
is availability.
Carson Wentz hasn't been able to do that. So when Doug Peterson and the Eagles were like, you know what, this is our guy, we're going to move forward with it, let Nick Foles go down to Jacksonville, do whatever, we'll figure it out later. I had a lot of questions. Then in that fourth quarter, watching Carson Wentz with a completely dismantled football team, I was like, you know what, maybe Carson Wentz is a lot better than I think he is. That throw where he seemed to hover above the ground with his knees and got that thing off, what a play. Zach Ertz, incredible football player. He runs a route half a yard deeper. You assume that the Eagles get a win in there against the Falcons, which... I'm always underwhelmed by the Falcons, but
yeah,
always.
They had that year where they went, them losing in the Super Bowl the way they did, I think maybe ruined their franchise. At least until like Matt Ryan gets out of there and they have a changing of the guard. They stink too.
Julio Jones might have ran a 3.940 after he caught that screen yesterday. One of the biggest specimens to ever step foot on a football field, Julio Jones. And for some reason, Matt Ryan tries to throw the ball to the other team all the time. Just throw it to Julio Jones. Seems a lot easier than I assume it actually is. But the Eagles almost won with a completely dismantled team. I think the Cowboys are going to have a great shot there in the NFC East. I honestly do. I think so.
I don't think that division's that strong this year. Banged up big time, too.
Saquon Barkley, are his best years going to be wasted by a bad New York Giants organization that can't put a team around him?
Well, either that or they're just going to run him into the ground and he's going to have the knees of a 95-year-old by the time he's like 28.
Happened to me. It's because I kicked balls against a wall my entire life. Not because I was just running over and through humans. But, I mean, I watched it happen with Luck. I hope it doesn't happen with Saquon. He is a special talent. I hope they get a good team around him. Daniel Jones also looked good in preseason. Eli Manning's made a couple throws here. But if you can't stop anybody, you're not going to win any games. It's becoming a lower scoring games, by the way. A lot of like that LA Rams Saints game was supposed to be a blowout, like points wise, not a blowout one way or the other. Everybody's preparing for an offensive juggernaut. A lot more defense nowadays. Got to have a defense if you want to win games. People aren't talking about the Patriots defense.
Nice little shutout
against a tanking Dolphins. So take it as you will, but boy, that Dolphins team looks terrible. Rex Ryan said he thinks there's going to be a lot of teams competing for that first pick.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel bad for Fitzpatrick.
It's 11:34. I do too. Ryan?
Yeah. I feel bad for him.
He's just sitting down there as a sitting duck, getting a good tan, getting a chance to travel around Miami, visit where all of the cocaine came in.
Mm-hmm.
The entire city built by cocaine trafficking.
Yeah, it is.
Great history, too. Never won a big one, but great history. Dan Marino. Now it's just, hey, Ryan Fitzpatrick, you're old, you got a great beard, you're from Harvard. Go stand out there and just get slaughtered, bub.
He's going to get benched for Rosen.
That'll last long, I assume. They're doing it right down there. They're tanking in the proper fashion. 11:35, September 16th, Monday. It's a beautiful one. We'll take your call on the other side. 1-833-622-3331. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
You could ask it.
Hey, how many breaks have we done thus far this hour? Okay, cool. So we're good. This is the second one.
Okay.
We're good all the way through.
Yep.
For those watching at home, we can't thank you enough for riding along this. By the way, 5 a.m. wake-up call this morning. I hopped on a plane last night about 10:30. Landed here at midnight. Got to the hotel around 1. 5 a.m. wake-up call. Bang, let's talk sports.
Yikes.
It was pretty good. We stayed at this hotel called the Beekman. Oh, boy.
Down there in the Seaport District? Or?
No, yeah, I think it's near there. A little bit inside. It is way too fancy.
Really?
400 degrees in there when I got in the room. Me and Sam walked in there. It's about the size of a closet or so, you know, New York City hotel.
Right. Which is funny because our hotel rooms are very spacious.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, very
That seems to be kind of the way it works.
Very spacious.
You remember when you guys all got gift bags at that hotel we checked in Winston-Salem and I didn't get anything?
Yeah, but your gift bag that was then created was about 1,000 times better than the ones we got.
I concur. I absolutely concur. Foxy got the damn penthouse.
Mm-hmm.
That always happens. Foxy's back there in the director's chair. He gets a penthouse. He's yelling at people. He's got the beard now. Michigan State stinks at football.
They do. They do stink. That fifth floor was nice, though.
I'll get it afterwards. I'm going to crash if I drink that now.
What, the Bang?
Pow. We don't give Jack from Bang.
Dump that, please.
Dump that. Please don't let that go live. Please don't let. Dave, is this the worst show you've ever had to work on?
It's great. I should be here every Monday.
You'll be here every Monday?
Possibly.
Tauscher in studio.
Now we're talking. He's a married man. I just saw a very large ring there on him. That's a big boy, isn't it? Foxy's terrible at counting.
If you're muted or that's why.
That boy Allen on the ones and twos back in the control room. Appreciate this. This sounds great. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Last 20 minutes of the show here. Going to get to a couple more calls. Ty Schmidt and I cannot wait to hear what you have to say. Zito, who we got next, bud?
We got Morgan from Kansas City. She wants to talk about D Ford and Tom Brady.
Okay, Morgan, Kansas City. What's up?
Hi. How are you?
Morgan, I believe this is the first female caller of the show. This is a big time day. Let's, hey, Morgan. Hey.
Thank you. Yay.
Hey.
Well, while we're on that subject, I also want to say, are we going to do a +1 to go with Zito to your wedding? Because I'm mad that I got cheated out and not going before. Because I was in on that.
For those that don't know, before this show went live on radio and globally on DAZN, Zito was invited to a wedding in Chicago. He had a +1. We decided to make it a raffle for all of our listeners. Zito promptly was uninvited to the wedding as soon as we did that. With that being said, we're not sure if Zito's invited to the my wedding yet.
Whoa!
Well, I'm just telling you, your readings have gotten worse and worse and worse. The fiance Sam is in charge of all of this. I think Zito will earn his way back into the wedding invite list like everybody else, but it is up for grabs. If he does get a +1, there will be no rules on who he could bring. So Morgan, you could potentially be there.
I believe in you, Zito. It's my favorite. Please.
Thank you so
I want
much.
to go. Okay, anyway, I want to talk about how
She
the
doesn't
refs
know
screw everything
Zito.
up.
Okay.
The refs screw everything up when we're talking about it, and everybody remembers D Ford, but nobody remembers 7 minutes into the fourth quarter when the nonsense call was the pass interference on Tom Brady. The refs called that nonsense pass interference call that would have changed the whole game. We would have got the ball back, probably ran down the field again, scored, whatever. D Ford doesn't even happen.
I mean, that's all semantics, you know?
Ty was not happy with what you were saying. I mean, the reason why it's forgotten about, I believe, and I'm not even sure I know what you're talking about.
I don't either.
That's how much I've forgotten about it, because the D Ford one was such an egregious move. So it was just literally, we're talking about a quarter of a yard there. You just go ahead and back it up. That's not a call that the refs want to make. The refs don't want to make that call. Now, granted, we've been learning a lot about the refs here as of late. Maybe they do want to make that call. They made that roughing the passer on the Broncos yesterday.
Right.
No. With 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, they called a pass interference call that wasn't even there for Tom Brady, and they got a new set of downs, and that's when they scored, and that's when the nonsense happened. If they wouldn't have called that, we would have won the game. All the rest of it doesn't matter.
Morgan, I'm 100% on your side there. But what if that coin toss at the beginning of the game was heads, not tails? You know, then it's a whole different ball
Changes the
game as
entire
well.
outcome.
We have no idea. What if at halftime they didn't get electrolytes, they got something that wasn't electrolytes? What if this? What if that? We can always what if. But the biggest what if from that game, universally from that game is, what if D Ford just backed up about 6 inches? Because the Patriots, so impossible to beat. So impossible to beat. Andy Reid season, not normally that good, that deep into the thing.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes had an electric season. Here we go. This is the team that can do it. And then whammy, that whole situation happens. But I respect the fact that in Kansas City, the spin zone is, well, before D Ford even happened, there's a pass interference. It was just a bunch of BS. And by the way, Kansas City, incredible barbecue.
Oh, great barbecue.
Incredible people.
Love the power and light.
And I love the fact that they refuse to just be mad at D Ford. It's some bigger picture, because outside of their fanhood, outside of Chiefs Kingdom, everybody's pointing fingers at one person, and that guy got shipped out of town, D Ford. I like Morgan calling in, though, huh? First lady.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, now, granted, as soon as she started talking, you started shaking your head.
Well, yeah, I mean, because like you said, just own up to what happened. All right, no one remembers that. They remember D Ford lining up offsides.
Well, that's what she's saying, though. It's like, hey, maybe more people should think about Tom Brady getting the benefit of the doubt on a phantom pass interference other than D Ford. Yet again, the Patriots spin zone. That's what she's saying, Tom.
Right. Well, but if you're not a Chiefs fan, that's not how you're thinking.
This is a global show.
It is.
I respect Morgan bringing in the Kansas City perspective, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for calling, Morgan. Zita, do we have anybody else on the line?
Yes, sir. We have Brent from Louisville wants to talk about how bad the Bengals are.
Nobody wants to talk about that, Brent. Brent, is it Louisville? This is what we'll talk about. Is it Louisville or Louisville? Because I live 90 minutes away, and I still don't know if I'm accurate whenever I say, oh, I'm going down Louisville for the Kentucky Derby, or do I go down to Louisville? What is the proper pronunciation of Louisville? And I think that is a much bigger conversation than the Bengals, which nobody talks about, by the way. It's not our fault. We have to run a show, though.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, the Bengals are terrible. I mean, I don't want to talk about that either, but it's affected the season. But you're incorrect in getting it right. It is Louisville. It's just a big kind of slur of all of the beginning to the end. There's no Louisville. It's just Louisville.
You're 90 minutes away from Indianapolis. I assume you're about 90 minutes away from Cincinnati as well. What made you choose to be a Bengals fan over an Indianapolis Colts fan?
Growing up, it was my dad. He was a Bengals fan. There was no Indianapolis Colts growing up. They were in Baltimore, so the Bengals were close to home. It was close to his heart, and it's close to mine.
I don't like that they got rid of Pac-Man Jones. I think that's going to have a big-time effect on the team. You don't just let Adam Pac-Man Jones go and think that the team's going to get better. How are they? To be honest, I'm an Andy Dalton fan, too. I like his haircut. I like everything he's done. I like the city of Cincinnati. We got a chance to play at a place called Bogarts, which me and Tom Petty.
I was there.
My guy, I appreciate the hell out of you, Brent. The Bengals, though.
Pac-Man, he's electric.
Pac-Man is electric. I mean, and he also sparked some stuff down in the basement that lit up the entire room.
A lot of people there did.
Yeah, I could. Everybody was drunk in there. It wasn't set up for a comedy show. It was just a party, which we had to turn it into.
Great time, though.
The Bengals fan base, though, what are you guys thinking? Like, maybe sometime this decade will be good, or is it like, hey, the time is now? Because just a couple years ago, they rattled off 11 straight, and nobody was talking about them.
They were. I mean, a couple of years ago, Andy Dalton was MVP conversation before he tore ligaments in his thumb like Drew Brees. But you never know. Last week, they looked good. One loss road in Seattle, toughest place to play outside of maybe Kansas City. They shut down Jadeveon Clowney.
Brent, who's saying that? Who told you it's the toughest place to play? Have you played there?
Seattle's super loud. It's supposed to be the toughest place to play. Is Seattle? It's so loud there. It's incredible. Legion of Boom was a thing.
Yeah, 12th man.
Show up with 12th man, all that.
Brent, I respect you so much. I appreciate you, man. It is funny, though, that the AFC North gets talked about. Everybody's like Lamar Jackson. By the way, Ravens weren't being talked about much either. Yeah. Everything was Cleveland Browns and Pittsburgh Steelers. Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers. Just because trendy conversation pieces. That Bengals team, just a few years ago, literally rattled off 11 straight to start the year. Still nobody was talking about them. They don't have an indoor practice facility, I don't think. Everybody's talked about the way things run at the Bengals operation isn't great. Carson Palmer thought about quitting football, had an entire new career elsewhere. But I hope for the people of Cincinnati who are a loyal fan base, I hope the Bengals do get good at football sooner than later.
Yeah, it's not great because the Reds kind of stink too. They don't really have anything to look forward to. But the Bengals, I don't even know who's on the team. I really don't.
Andy Dalton.
AJ Green's out. Andy Dalton and Joe Mixon are about the only guy.
They got that white punt returner. He took one back on me in a preseason game. I forget his name. He's from like Wisconsin or Nebraska or something. He's a good player. I have no idea who else is on that football team.
Me neither.
And we're a sports show. This is probably stuff we should know, but here
but
we
like
are.
you said, no one wants to talk about the Bengals. No one's talking about them.
Which they don't deserve, by the way. The Bengals fans don't deserve that. I wish we talked more about them, but honestly, we know nothing about them. We just hope they get good for you because you guys are a good fan base.
Exactly.
Zito, who's next, bub?
I have Blaine from Indy.
Blaine from Indy. What's going on, boss?
That's on me. I got to find him. Hold up.
Zito, this is what happens. Oh, there it is. Blaine, what's going on, bub?
Hey, Hey, good morning. How you guys doing?
You know, not bad. It's almost noon. I've been up for like 6 hours already. I'm feeling good, feeling great. A lot of great sports conversation. Ty, how are you?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good as well.
That a boy, Blaine?
Feeling real good. Feeling good. Love seeing the come up of you guys. And Pat, I know you mentioned earlier, Ty, the stash with the hat, stuff of legend. Unbelievable.
Thank you. Had to do it.
If you're not watching at home, Ty has an incredible costume on here for our debut in World Trade. It's representing the Fire Department of New York, which are a bunch of heroes, and a great mustache. Blaine, what do you want to talk about, bub?
So even if you don't follow sports, you know what's going on with the Raiders in the offseason, right?
Mm-hmm.
Through all that, come out and look good in week 1, look a little rough in week 2, but honestly, who doesn't versus the Chiefs? Want to get your take on the future of them. Do you have confidence in Gruden this year? Do you like Carr? Do you like Jacobs? What do you think's coming for them the rest of the season?
I think they've played a lot better than I could have imagined. I think watching that Hard Knocks, I thought they had no chance. I thought their team, especially with Antonio Brown leaving, lost their weapon. But John Gruden has been able to rally the troops throughout his entire career. And I think Coach Gruden's here. Is that accurate?
Listen, we don't need Antonio Brown, man. Okay? You ever seen Hunter Renfrow play football? Character guy, runs every route in the playbook, and always knows where the sticks are at. That's my kind of guy, man.
They said Mike Mayock went and watched the national championship. He saw Hunter Renfrow. And thank you, Blaine. I appreciate you, man. He said he saw Hunter Renfrow ball out and decided he had to be on his team. And then he looked good in Hard Knocks. I haven't really watched the Raiders game yet. I saw them jump out to an early lead.
They did, yeah.
At the last baseball field game at the Oakland Coliseum, which, by the way, rest in peace to a terrible football
complex?
No, yeah.
Facility?
No, the field. More so than anything. That stadium is an electric one. I talked to Marshawn Lynch about it a couple weeks ago. They got a DJ from the Bay in there who's only playing Bay bangers. There's like a nice cloud of marijuana hanging over. When you drive in there, Travis Kelce mentioned it, there's middle fingers flying. You know you're going into the black hole. Like it's a sacred place. But the locker rooms are terrible. The field is terrible. It just hasn't been updated in forever. But it's like this sacred place in football folklore. So to see the baseball field go away, I mean, nobody's really upset about it. But it is something to be remembered that on the last game, a kid who was drafted in the first round to play baseball went ahead and threw for 400 yards in football against the Raiders on the baseball field for the last time.
Do you think that their fan base is going to translate to Las Vegas? I think it's going to lose a huge part of. From
what I've been told on the internet, Raider Nation does not stop. Right? They were with them when they were in Los Angeles. They were with them when they moved back up to Oakland. Mm-hmm. They'll be with them until the day they die. But I think convenience of them being in the city is potentially something right now. I don't know if it moves over to Vegas, but I know that Vegas Stadium will be filled with away stadium with the visitors. Just trying to get a weekend away in Vegas.
Right.
Yeah, babe, gotta go to Sin City. Steelers are playing over there. Gotta go. Big Ben out for the year.
Oh, no.
Evan Foxy just said in my ear,
no.
Big Ben Roethlisberger out for the year. The Pittsburgh Steelers decide to go all in on Ben Roethlisberger. This kid from Miami, Ohio, big, tall guy who is tough, and he's not as nimble as he once was, but he can extend a play. He and Antonio Brown stop seeing eye to eye. Lev Bell is just a distraction. Let's go all in with Ben Roethlisberger. Let's bring his friend in to be offensive coordinator. Let's get a young nucleus that can look up to Ben and can rally around Ben. Let's get Juju Smith-Schuster a little bit more shine. Let's get James Conner in there. He's an incredible human, an incredible story, an incredible running back. Don't need anybody other than Big Ben and the team. Wham! Now it's gone. Now it's gone. So what happens? The Yinzers everywhere. Everything they wanted happened. They wanted people gone. They're gone. They wanted it to be Roethlisberger's team with no other influence anywhere else. It happened. James Conner got hurt yesterday. I don't know how long he's out. Roethlisberger's now out. It's Mason Rudolph's team. What are you going to do? Are you going to compete with the Dolphins for the first pick of the draft, or are you going to pick up the way the Pittsburgh natives would and go out there and put on a fight and not look good? But you made this bed. Now it's time to sleep in it. Absolute shame that happened to Ben Roethlisberger. I enjoy watching Ben Roethlisberger play football on the field. I don't like the way he acts off the field. I don't think he's a great leader. I don't think he has been a great leader. But on the field, I enjoy watching him. This is a shame for the Steelers. This is a shame for the city of Pittsburgh. But to be honest, this is the type of thing that could potentially happen when you decide to ship your best playmakers out of town because they're a distraction.
Yeah, I'd love to see Antonio Brown's reaction right now.
You won't see it because the Patriots have basically told him to shut up. And that's what happens when you go to New England. You become part of the Patriot way. Rest in peace to Roethlisberger's elbow. Hope he gets that fixed. Mason Rudolph, it's his team now. Who knows what Juju Smith-Schuster will be able to do. Drew Brees out 6 weeks. Roethlisberger out for the year. Who knows what's going to happen to a good friend of mine, Adam Vinatieri. The NFL never, ever stops. That's why it's the greatest league on earth. This is Monday, September 16th. From Ty Schmidt, myself, Evan Foxy, Alan, Sully, Dave, Zito, and all of our callers, including Nick Mango. We can't thank you enough for rocking with us. Whatever's on next, I'm sure it's great. You've been listening to the Pat McAfee Show.